Right off the top at 6, breaking news. A guilty verdict for the man accused of shooting 5 women on a cold November night in Norfolk. Tonight, the charges and the stiff sentence he faces after the week-long trial. Good evening. Here's what's happening. Guilty on all counts. That's the verdict for Ziontay Palmer, almost 2 years after a terrifying night in Norfolk's Young Terrace neighborhood. Among the charges, 3 counts of aggravated murder. 5 women were shot. This comes after a trial that included testimony from both survivors. We go to 10 on your side's Raven Payne and more on our breaking news tonight. Raven?
Yeah, well, the jury took about 4 hours deliberating before coming back with that guilty verdict. And I had a chance to speak with the families of some of the victims. They call this decision justice. Ziontay Palmer appeared to be calm in court as each of the 10 guilty verdicts were read Friday afternoon. The 21-year-old was found guilty in the murders of Sarah Costine, Deetra Brown, and Nicole Lovewine on November 3, 2021. The guilty verdicts also apply to the wounding of Chazelle Dixon and Palmer's ex-girlfriend, Angel LaGrande. Norfolk Commonwealth's attorney Ramin Fadahi says this case was very different from others.
This is one of the most heartbreaking and aggravated crimes we've had in Norfolk over the last 15 or 20 years. Mothers murdered in front of their children, pregnant women and Good Samaritans murdered and wounded.
This comes after a week-long trial filled with gut-wrenching evidence and many testimonies, including from victims and the late Sarah Costine's son, Malachi. His testimony came under scrutiny from the defense during closing arguments.
It was very nerve-wracking, and I felt like they were trying to intimidate me. But yeah, I had to do what I had to do, and I did it, and we got justice for my mother.
Now, what do you want your mother to know right now?
I want her to know that I love her. And that I will keep pursuing my dreams as a football player.
Palmer's defense attorney Eric Korsland tells me he and the family are still trying to come to terms with the decision.
I'm still trying to process everything. My heart goes out to his family. Very hard to accept this news. They're having a very difficult time.
Fadahi says since he took office in Norfolk, he's only recommended the life sentence in 2 cases.
This is one of those 2 cases, though. We intend to ask for a life sentence in this case. We don't do it lightly. We do it because it is the only sanction that I feel and we feel will fit the crime.
And Palmer's sentencing is set for February 2nd. Live in Norfolk, Raven Payne, 10 on your side.
Of course, no winners in this case. Thank you, Raven. Remember, you can see all of our coverage of this story right now on wavy.com.